Hi guys, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and today we have a little video. I had a couple of viewers call me or email me and ask me what is the difference between all of these lawnmower blades that I hear about for these snappers. There's a standard blade, there's a blade with air lifts, there's a mulching blade, and there's a ninja blade. What are all these blades and what are they used for? Well, I can show you some. I don't use a mulching blade for mulching purposes. I just have 3 of them and I use them because I have them. But I just use them for standard mowing. Ninja blades, I never had any, never used one. I did go out and buy one to show you what it looks like. It's not for a snapper, it's for a lawn boy. So it's kind of cheap and flimsy. Standard snapper blade. Here is a brand new 33-inch blade with, let me turn it this way. Without the holes, it would be a standard blade for mowing your yard. Now I have some, my boss for one, on that machine we rebuilt of his, this is the only blade he uses. He doesn't want to use the lifts because it creates too much suction, and he says, I've got bare spots in my yard that I used to have grass on. So he just uses a standard blade with no holes. Now, if you want to use one of these for mowing and put the lifts on in the fall, plug the holes with some bolts. You want to, otherwise the abrasive, the sand, if you have a yard like mine, it's going to make these holes really big. You don't want to do that. So that's what a standard blade looks like. It's only sharpened on the tip. Now, when you go to suck leaves in the fall and you want more suction, then you put on what they call an air lift. And believe me, when you put this on, it's going to sound like a small helicopter underneath your tractor. These are not the correct bolts. The bolts that go in here are flat heads, and when you put them in, they're flush with the surface. These are sticking up. That's not good. I had 2 of these 3 bolts, and I had the correct ones in. It wore the heads off, and the bolts fell out. Well, Murphy's Law, it wasn't these 2 that wore off. It was these 2. And that was my 28-inch that I'm using for my model. It completely destroyed the mower deck. So if you use these, check the bolts every once in a while, and if they're starting to wear, please replace them. I was sucking up leaves, these 2 bolts fell out, and what happened is this air lift spun out and made the blade that much longer than what it was supposed to be. I lost count trying to count how many holes it poked through the side of the mower deck when it was going around. And I ended up with a 7.5-inch rip through the side of the mower deck, along with all these numerous holes. So keep your eye on them bolts if you use these air lifts. A mulching blade. It has a high lift. It has another lift here. Let me turn this so you can see how they have this bent. And it's sharpened all the way up to here. This part that's raised is also sharpened. What this design is supposed to do is, instead of just blowing the grass out the chute right away, it's supposed to stir it up in there and cut it into smaller pieces and mulch it. Hence the name. The only reason I have this I have 2 more of these. They're for a 28-inch machine. I bought them when the hardware in town that was a dealer went out of business. He was selling all his stock at very cheap prices. So I bought every part I could find that would fit my 28-inch machine. Now that I have a 33-inch. But I have news. I finally found me a 2012 snapper. The last good one they made. And I went and bought it. It was a beautiful machine, hardly used. The people lived in town, and their yard was probably the size of this building. And they mowed, he said they mowed twice a week, and it sat in a garage all the time. Beautiful machine, and I just couldn't resist. I snatched that baby up. Now your Ninja blade, oh boy, it has cuts in the airlift. Now a snapper Ninja blade has, I believe, 4 of these cuts. And what they do is this one is left in the same plane as the rest of the blade. I believe the snapper Ninja blades, when they make these cuts, they take this piece and they twist it. They twist each one of them to help swirl the air, and I would imagine it just does the same thing as the mulching blade does. It just helps grind up the grass clippings so you don't have to bag them. The prices on them, I have no idea. I buy, typically the only blade I buy is the one with capable of putting the airlifts on. So I'm glad now that I do have all them 28-inch blades, because now I have a new 28-inch machine. And probably I'm going to use my 33-inch this summer, and this fall and winter the 28-inch one that I just bought, I'm going to bring in here and do the same thing I did to my bosses. I'm going to completely disassemble the entire machine and replace anything that looks like it needs repair. And I figure once I do that, that's going to outlast me. My 28-inch that I have for a model, I rebuilt that, and I never did another thing to it. Didn't grease it, didn't know about the maintenance. It went about 23 or 24 years, and I never touched it after I rebuilt it. They're very dependable, very well-built machine. So that's it about blades. Whether you get a standard blade, a mulching blade, or a Ninja blade. Haven't used those two, but maybe one of you guys out there, if you use a Ninja blade, you like the way it works, and if you know why it's designed like that, put a comment in the box below and let everybody else know what that thing does. So that's about it. Until next time, work safe, have fun, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm getting closer to bringing that snapper out and showing you guys what I did. I keep getting emails on it, on guesses on what size engine I'm putting on this thing, and no, I'm not giving any hints. I did see a picture in here of something. If I can figure out how to show it to you the best. This is something I seen online, and this is probably what I should have did to the snapper, but I'll show you a picture of this. This is a 4-wheel scooter for an elderly person that can't walk. If you can get the glare out of that. Somebody built this thing, and they have mounted a 4-cylinder Yamaha engine. And I got a customer calling on this thing, and I don't know if it runs or not, but it sure looks cool. So until next time, you guys, give your snapper a little more power, and we'll talk to you soon.